Okay, do you avoid using humor in English because you're not sure if your jokes will land or people will understand your humor? Maybe you can add jokes, be a little humorous in your native language, but you're not so sure how to do it in English. Don't worry, we're going to go through different situations in business English where you can add a joke. And I'll give you lots of examples of good, safe jokes you can use in small talk, in meetings, to break the ice, in presentations. Let's jump right in. Why do we need humor? Well, we don't need humor, but it sure is nice. I'm sure in your own language, you work with people who every now and again, they'll say something that makes you smile or it makes you laugh. And it's a joy to work with those people. So same thing goes in any language. If English is your second language, well, English is your second language if you're watching this channel. So it's difficult to make a joke in your second language. You don't know how it's going to be received, if it's going to fall flat and be a disaster. So we're going to go through lots of different things you can say in different situations. You can just copy them. But the reason why humor is important, it really helps to build rapport. And rapport, if you don't know this word, it means relationships. So it helps you build rapport with people you're working with. It's very important in that regard. Also, it helps to break the ice. Break the ice, and if you don't know break the ice, just when there's tension, when you don't know someone, when you're first meeting someone and there's tension in the room. And if you can make a little observational joke, always on the safe side, always professional, but a little observational joke will help to break the ice. It will make everyone relaxed. It makes you more memorable. It makes the environment less tense. It shows you have confidence and fluency in English, and it absolutely helps in networking, leadership, and again, building rapport. You don't need to be a comedian, but it's good to sound a little human. And by doing that, we bring in some humor. This one is observational humor. And so you're just making a comment on what you see in the environment that you're in. So the most typical one, which people use all the time, is this meeting could have been an email. And this is when you're leaving a meeting and physically walking out of a meeting room and you go to your colleague, this meeting could have been an email. Or a big online meeting, and then maybe after the meeting's done, you send a little message to one of your colleagues, this meeting could have been an email. And it's a little observational humor saying, we kind of wasted our time. We could have spent our time better. So that's a really common one. I'm sure you've already heard this one, but now you know how to use it. This meeting could have been an email. Another one is, I love deadlines, especially when they move. And this is observational humor, sarcasm. Sarcasm, we do like sarcasm in English quite a lot. So again, this would be amongst your colleagues. This would not be with management. This would not really be with your clients or suppliers, but you'd use this with your colleagues. I love deadlines, especially when they move. So you're being very sarcastic. No one loves deadlines. No one loves when deadlines move, but it's going to put a smile on someone's face. It's going to make someone giggle. It'll make them laugh. Or another Monday, another coffee emergency. Another meeting, another coffee emergency. Another day, another dollar. These are all really common observational ones. We often say them on Monday. Hey, Jim, how's your day going? Another day, another dollar. Just another day at work, another dollar of money I'm earning. Or another Monday, another coffee emergency. So you see someone in the break room pouring a coffee, drinking a coffee, and that's an observation. There is some dry humor, and dry humor is very subtle humor. It's not obvious, and there's no strong emotion here, so this works in quite a few situations. So if you're giving a presentation, and for whatever reason, your next slide has a holiday photo, and so a little bit of humor in these situations really goes a long way. So, that didn't go as expected. And that's just an observation. You're making a joke. That didn't go exactly as expected. That didn't go as expected. And so just a little observational humor in this regard. It's dry, it's calm, and it's subtle. Another thing is if someone does something and maybe they failed at it, or they tried to achieve something and it wasn't very successful. And your comment could be, well, that's one way to do it. And that's one way to do it means, there are better ways. Okay, so for example, I don't know, maybe you're in a big board meeting and someone pours a water around the table and they spill one person's water. They overfill the cup and it spills. And so you can say, that's one way to do it, as if that's one way to fill a glass of water. I mean, it's observational. It's quite dry. It's not rude. It's not rude. It's actually still quite light. People will smile. People will laugh. Even the person who makes the error will appreciate your little joke there. That's one way to do it. Okay, the next category I have here is self-deprecating humor. This is when you're making light jokes about yourself. So this is really quite good for management, for team leads, for people who want to connect with their team or their subordinates. This is quite good. So it's self-deprecating humor. You're looking at yourself. So for example, someone asks you a question and you just say, I need a second coffee before I can say anything intelligent. So it just as a joke. Or let me double check that my brain is still loading. Monday morning, this is perfect for Monday morning. Or I had a great idea earlier, but I just forgot it. Flew away from me. So this just, it shows humility. It shows that you're human. It shows you're not perfect. It makes you approachable. This is why it's so good for leaders and managers. Careful, keep it light. Don't undermine your competence, right? So don't make it look like you're not capable at all. This is not what you're doing here. You're not saying I'm not intelligent. You're not saying I don't have great ideas. You're just saying I need a second coffee before I can say anything intelligent. Or let me double check that. My brain's still loading. It's Monday morning. So, and this just shows that you're human. It does not undermine your professionalism and your competence, but it just shows a little light humor. It definitely helps you build rapport with your team. Okay, next category here is wordplay or puns. Puns are jokes that are a play on words. So words have multiple meanings, therefore it's a funny joke. And a couple of these ones here, in the most gold standard business joke that we use all the time, you hear this in offices and online meetings everywhere, is working hard or hardly working. And if you don't know, hardly, the adverb, is an exception adverb. It doesn't mean working hard. Working hard means you're working really hard. You're working a lot. But hardly working or hardly means almost not. So this is just a simple thing. You walk by someone's desk. Hey, Jim, working hard or hardly working? Or you're in an online meeting and you see someone there working hard or hardly working. And it's a joke. People are going to say, yeah, I'm working hard, or no, I'm hardly working. It's going to make people smile. This is a very common joke. It's used a lot. So any native speaker knows this joke, and it's a pretty common one. Another one is, and the next one's pretty advanced, is I'm on a need to know basis and I don't need to know. So if someone is on a need to know basis, this is a common business term, and it means a need to know. You only tell me what I need to know. So for example, you're working on a project and your manager says, listen, I want to be on a need to know basis about any budget creep. So if the scope creeps or the budget creeps, I'm on a need to know basis. So don't tell me anything about the project unless it's about this. I only need to know the important things. So this is kind of a joke on being on a need to know basis, saying I'm on a need to know basis and I don't need to know. So maybe someone's gossiping with you, or someone's sharing something too personal with you, or someone's sharing something really boring with you. And you're like, I'm on a need to know basis and I don't need to know. And I really don't need to know. And it's a joke of saying, don't tell me, I don't want to hear it. So careful, make sure you're saying this to a colleague, someone who you have a good rapport with. Again, rapport means relationship. The other one, working hard or hardly working, is pretty standard. You can say it to most people. Okay, the next one is not so much jokes, but it's a little bit of humor. In English, we love to exaggerate. Why do we say we're starving when we're hungry? Starving means you're dying from a lack of food. So we do exaggerate a lot in English, and this adds a little bit of humor. So you can say, I've had about 47 meetings this morning, which no one's had 47 meetings in one morning, but you're exaggerating and it just makes it humor. It's light. This is so common in English. And if you're a little scared or nervous to kind of actually tell a joke, just by exaggerating a little bit, and people know you're exaggerating if the number's bigger than it's going to be. And it just makes you that much more human to the people you're speaking with. Exaggerating, it does work in most environments too. You don't have to worry if it's not just colleagues. It could be management. It could be your suppliers or your clients, you name it. But by exaggerating, it does help to add a little bit of light humor. So this project's been going on forever. No, it has not been going on forever, since the beginning of time. No, it hasn't. But you're exaggerating, saying it feels like it's been going on forever. So by exaggerating in English, it adds a little bit of humor to what you're saying. Okay, so when to use humor? Use humor at the start of a meeting to break the ice. Use humor during small talk. Use humor with your colleagues. It kind of, when you're in the break room, you're having a coffee, you're in the elevator. This always works great for a little bit of humor. Use it when something goes wrong. This is when humor is beautiful, because it really reduces the tension. If someone does something wrong, and you make a light joke, it's going to make them feel more relaxed. It'll make the entire room feel more relaxed. And of course, use it in presentations, in light moments to kind of re-engage your audience. When not to use humor, don't use humor in any kind of conflicts, layoffs, serious discussions, performance reviews, any important meeting. That's not the place for any humor whatsoever. If you have clients you don't know very well, be very soft with the humor. Don't overdo it. Small, little, safe ones are fine. And lastly, if you're working with multicultural teams where maybe some people's level of English is quite low, lower than yours, if you say the joke working hard or hardly working, well, if their level of English is like an A2, A1 level, they probably won't get that joke. So make sure you kind of understand their level of English. And there are some safe ones. For example, well, that's one way to do it. Maybe you have a big online meeting and someone shares their screen, and instead of sharing their screen, they share their screen 50 times. It's a screen within a screen. And oh, that's one way to do it. And most people, even with an A1, A2 level, will get that joke and it will be funny. Okay, hopefully you've learned some great lines and great things you can say to kind of lighten the mood, add a little humor to the words and the language you're using in business English. In business English, you don't need to be funny, but you need to be relatable. You need to build that rapport, and a little bit of humor here and there really does help to do that. And being relatable helps to make good business English great business English. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much for joining me.